Hello and welcome to Module 5. This week we're going to go back to our writing. Last week we had an incubation period which allowed us to have a little time away from what we've been writing to come look at it with new eyes. So that's going to be the focus this week. So the following assignments in this module will be graded. 5.1, which is submission, your finalized writing plan. 5.4, assignment 2, which is milestone 1, your first draft of your essay. And then 5.5, a temperature check goes over revision skills. So let's look at 5.1. Assignment 1 submission. This is your finalized writing plan. So you wrote the writing plan in Module 3, but this time you're going to go back to it and you're going to amplify it. You're going to look at how you can revise it to make it a stronger writing plan for your final essay. So as you prepare for writing assignment 2, which is your first draft, you're going to want to go back to the original writing plan and then make this writing plan more detailed and then begin your draft. The draft of your paper will be an entire essay, but I'll go into more details about that in just a minute. So let's look at the assignment guidelines for your finalized writing plan. So I'm pulling up the rubric here. Writing plan, author's claim. Make sure that you determine the author's claim that will be addressed in the analysis essay. You may have gotten this already in the original one, and you can do some copying and pasting, but if you had any notes about revisions, make sure that you take those revisions into account because there's more to this assignment. It's a bigger assignment. It's supposed to be an improved assignment over the one you submitted in Module 3. The author's key points. You want to make sure that you determine the author's key points and reasoning that will be helpful to support their claim. You want to make sure that you have established criteria and you demonstrate an astute ability to discern clearly and articulate what support will be necessary. So this is a plan. This is where you're saying, I need to go in and I need to find these things, and this is why. Remember, you're always telling me why. Writing plan audience. So make sure that you are identifying the correct audience and any challenges that you may have in speaking to that audience. Your goal. You want to make sure that the goal that you want to accomplish with this essay is established so you have a strong intent in your essay. The writing plan evidence. This is a huge category. It's worth 32 points. This is where you're going to actually go into the readings and find text evidence that you are going to include in the paper. You do need to include actual text evidence, not, oh, I need to find this part, or, something, I need to look at this part or need to look it up. In order to get full credit on this point, you must actually provide that evidence with an in-text citation. The writing plan revision strategy. So later on in the module, the very last thing you'll be doing is revision needs. And sometimes before you know what kind of revision strategy you want to use, it helps to get through and do that last assignment just to make sure you know what you're comfortable with. And then how you plan to use feedback. And then lastly, the articulation of response. So please note that to earn full points in this section, your submission must be free of errors related to citations, grammar, spelling, syntax, and organization, and is presented in a professional and easy to read format. So you will be putting this into either an MLA style or APA style document with the headers, the heading, or title page, depending on which type of formatting you choose, correct in-text citations, as well as either a works cited or a references page. I need all of that to earn full points in this section. Preparing for assignment 2, milestone 1. There are sometimes you have large scale revisions and sometimes you have small scale revisions. So large scale revisions deal with whether or not you have a clear thesis statement. Have you supported that thesis statement? Have you summarized the opposing viewpoints and summarized potential objections? Small scale things are things like, have I used the proper grammar? Am I spelling correctly? Do I have the right punctuation? Is my tone appropriate? These are things that are handled kind of as one of the last revisions in a paper is the grammatical check. So you want to make the large scale revisions are the ones that are going to weigh most heavily on the assignment. In 5.4, this is your first draft. So I want to go over this with you because these boxes can be a little bit misleading. These boxes tell you what to include in them, but what you are writing is your first draft of your paper. So you shouldn't have things like, I intend to whatever. You should actually do it. So make sure that you're paying close attention to that. So let's look at the assignment guidelines and rubric. You're going to need to write an introduction, which is the first paragraph of your essay. It needs to include an overview of the work being analyzed, who wrote it, what you're talking about, and all the sentences that lead, the background information that leads up to your thesis. So you do need to include your thesis in that first paragraph. The body paragraphs. You should have multiple paragraphs that are focused, clearly state their intent, and build to the thesis argument. So this is not a writing plan. This is actually the essay. Your body paragraph should also support the claim by combining thoughts and ideas with evidence. So what you think, how you are applying the quotes, how you are trying to use the quotes to forward your own thesis about the work. You must have a conclusion. The conclusion needs to summarize the main points of your essay and include a paraphrase of your thesis statement. Lastly, you want to look for your final first draft to be put in MLA or APA format. You need to make sure you have the headers, the title page or heading, the right citation page, whether that's references or works cited. You need to have proper in-text citations. So this is not a rough draft. This is a first draft. And the difference between a rough draft and a first draft is a rough draft is very rough. This should be something that you have gone through at least a couple of times to kind of make some, kind of get a good paper going here, or the beginnings of a very good paper. The more complete your draft is, the better my feedback and the higher your grade will be on the final assignment. And then lastly, you've got a temperature check that's going to go over revision needs. So make sure you do that. And I would do this assignment before I finished submitting either of the other two assignments that I will be grading this week. Well, that's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.